Hey guys, it's Ryan here. Today I wanted to share a couple of the ways that I was able to grow my income before I had a job and then also continue to grow that once I got a job. Hopefully to spark some ideas in your heads as to how you can do the same. So the first two kind of apply generally across the board to anybody. The second one actually is more of if you, it has a couple restrictions. And then the third one is something that can apply specifically to you, and I think it's something that you'll be really, really interested in. So with the first one, it goes more along the lines of getting the job, because you can't really grow your income unless you have a job. I mean, that's the one start, because then you can start using that money to do other things. So for this one is look for a job that hires at a much earlier age. So say you're like 15, like I was 15 when I got my first job. You can even get one when you're 14 probably. There's so many people who are always needing help. It could even be garden work for your neighbor. Just look for something or some kind of connection that you can try to use to your advantage to make a little bit more money earlier on. So like for me, when I was 15, I learned that there was a pool in town that was hiring at 15 for lifeguards. Not only did they hire at 15, but they paid a pretty competitive hourly rate of like $9.50, which was a lot for a 15-year-old to be making. And along with that, got really good hours, and they even paid for the training. So that's another bonus right there, is also look for work where the training is paid for. You save so much money, and you end up getting paid most of the time more than any job where you don't get that specific training. And then the second one kind of applies to if you have a driver's license. So like for me, I once I got my license, I was already working at a food service place making decent money, but I wanted to grow that. And so what I did was I started doing DoorDash and Postmates. That was the other one. Sorry about that. And those two, they're great because you can do them when you want to, and you don't exactly have to do them all the time. So they're just food delivery, something really, really easy you can do on the side. But the one requirement is you have to have a car or you have to have a license. And so that's the downside, but I was still able to use that to kind of grow my income. And now it's gotten to the point where they pay a much better and more consistent rate. Along with that, if you do a good job, you generally tend to end up with tips. So it gives you a little bit more incentive to do a good job when you're doing those deliveries. Of course, that's not for everyone, but it's one of the ways that I was able to grow my income even once I had a job. And so then the third one, this really applies to you specifically as an individual. And this one might take a little bit of searching, but honestly, I think it's right in front of you, and you just haven't noticed it yet if you haven't been using this to your advantage. So for me, I've always been interested in phones and technology. So I got started kind of young. I think I broke a phone or something, and I needed to fix it because I didn't want to spend all the money to get a new phone. So what I did was I ordered the parts on eBay, and then I just kind of taught myself through trial and error how to fix phones over time. And the cool thing about it was like I cared so much about it because it was my passion that I never really broke any of these phones that I was fixing. Of course, that's not going to work for everyone, but the benefit to that was I was kind of able to turn it into a side business. And this can apply to you in whatever you're genuinely interested in. So like maybe you like making hair bows. Like my mom and my family, she liked making hair bows, and so she kind of did that as a business, and she sold them locally. And that's the coolest part about this third one, is it applies to you as an individual. So say you like training, like physical training, and you are really good at workouts. You can start drawing up these workout plans and selling those to people locally. And this isn't even limited to just local. Like me, I was selling my phones online. You can sell them on eBay, Mercari. There's a couple of like local sales sites you can use, like Let Go and stuff like that. You can even use Facebook Marketplace. And so that's the beauty of that is like online sales. It is such a huge business nowadays. And what you can do is just create a product based on your own passion and just sell it. And I guarantee you, there's always going to be at least one other person with demand for that product. So you can use that to your advantage. That's something that I did probably since I was 15 years old. And so the biggest profit I had from that, of course, it's like a phone. So you have to buy it at a price and then sell it at just a high enough price that you still make a profit, but there's not extremely huge profit margins, But the one benefit to that market was that the phones, when they would be broken, they're kind of useless, so people like throw them away. And so what I would do is, I had this one phone I bought back in 2014. It was called a OnePlus One, and it had like just released. It was an Android phone, and it was missing the operating system. So what I did was I just put an operating system on it, and I sold it. I bought the phone for $60, and I sold it for $180. So on my first sale, I got $120 profit for maybe like an hour of work of just putting the OS on the phone. And stuff like that. Like if it's something that you're passionate about, it is so much easier to dedicate your time to working on that. And you can usually turn it into your own business, like a side business, because you care so much about it. You make time for it already, and so that's why I think this third one really will apply to you. But hopefully these ideas kind of spark more ideas for stuff that you can do to grow your income, whether or not you have a job or you're looking for a job right now. I mean, especially if you're looking for a job, pay attention to that first one I gave about looking a little outside of the box, finding some connections locally, because that one will really count, because it'll kind of set the groundwork to provide you with that steady income, hopefully, to be able to grow on that and then have those two other ideas to work off of as well. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.